resource. There should really be the right kind of mental aptitude. It's simply like if someone has a car, if he doesn't know how to drive a car, he cannot drive. Or even if he knows how to drive a car, if he doesn't know how to go, then he will end up going nowhere. But I think this country is seriously lacking the cultural aptitude for development. So how will you work with that? How will you leverage and include or integrate it within the development process?
And do you have any specific example?
Yeah, this is the example. The overall, well, I think if you go for that, well, culture is a very big term.
All right. Yes, because
specifically, it's about.
Thank you, gentlemen. So, would you like to respond? Anybody? Okay, yeah, that's not like a big comment. Less of questions. All right, thank you. Anybody? Yes, last. Yes, good. Oh, yes, please. We'll come back to you. Oh, okay, go over there, please. Yeah, take a seat. It's closer. Please.
Just a very short question. For the LDC graduation by 2026, there are so many risks that we are anticipating. My question to you, what are the risk financing strategy of Bangladesh government? There should be something there. And how the development partners you are interacting each other to support this and make it a possible one that we can really graduate from the LDC.
Maybe this question would be answered by our Honorable Economic Advisor to the
Yes.
Honorable Prime Minister. All right. So the last question from this side. Yes. Quick. This is the last one. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, please.
So my question is basically about the governance aspect. I understand the EU delegation was talking about that. So my specific question is in terms of working on the governance aspect. As we know in the context of the country, there is a shrinking space challenge is being faced with the civil society organizations, specifically the organizations that work on rights or rights-based issues. So I'm just wondering, and EU was talking about that, and probably UN is also interested in working with the right-based organizations. In terms of this challenge these organizations are facing, what is kind of the plan of the development partners in working with them, and what is the strategy to sort of engage them in the development and the policy process of the country? Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to respond right now? Please. It's on.
It's on the microphone. Well, thank you. We engage day in, day out with all walks of society in Bangladesh, be it civil society, be it key institutions that are instrumental in upholding governance. We support civil society through what we call calls for proposals. So we have regular calls for proposals, and there'll be another one coming along in May. So we have a competitive process, but we invite civil society to apply for those funds. And I hope that that can make a contribution to strengthening civil society, and we do that around the world. It's not just, of course, in Bangladesh, and it's part of our engagement with the government as well, including on court reform and so on. So it is definitely in the frame of our relations, and definitely in the frame of working towards fulfilling the conditions for GSP+.
Thank you. Thank you. Since we do not have many questions from the audience, but I do. So this is the last round of questions to our very esteemed panelists. Again, I would like to go to Madam Additional Secretary. To you, already you have already outlined that what is the situation and how we are planning. But at this stage, what are the challenges you see? The challenges where our development partners particularly can contribute. Is there any particular set of challenges you see in dealing with this transition and seamless transition to post-LDC situation where our development partners have niche capacity to contribute us? Please.
Thank you very much. Actually, I have already mentioned some of the issues, but to be very particular, for this LDC graduation, obviously that is an issue. And most importantly, at this current economic scenario. So, along with this LDC graduation, this current economic scenario also itself is a challenge. And for that, we are actually approaching our development partners especially the multilateral development partners. World Bank is here, UN is here, EU also here. So we would like to mention that we have already approached our development partner to extend their concessional financing. Usually for LTC graduation, after 2026, scenario could be different and there is a certain transition period. But we have already approached for extending the transition period. Considering this current economic scenario, World Bank and other development partners, because it's SOFR based and you know the rate. So we have already approached them to revisit or sometimes reconsider the terms and issues and other thing for us. And here, His Excellency the Chinese Ambassador is here. We have already approached them to consider some of the issues like extend the loan period, sometimes considering the concessionality of loan like management fees, some other upfront fees and other things. So we are pursuing with all of them. And with multilateral development partner, we are also engaging with bilateral partners. And we are inviting more and more development partners in our area. Like I am very happy to mention you that even last year we have partnership with Korea only for 5 to 700 million. But this year we are able to manage it or increase it by 5 billion. So we'll have this sort of partnerships and we are trying to securing the framework agreement for a longer period so that we can minimize the challenges during the transition period. Along with this, we are also talking with Japan. Even last year, their rate of interest was a bit higher, but this year they are actually considering this scenario and it's a bit lower for this quarter. And we are very thankful to China also. They are also revisiting their areas and hopefully in near future, Sitka, they have already assured us the interest rate will be lower and the loan maturity period will be higher for new projects. For our another development partner India, we are also going for new framework agreement where some of the project could be shifted to get the full moratorium period. And we are pursuing with our UN organizations, EU and other development partners to secure more climate funding. And our approach that we are actually not contributing country, rather we are the most victim of climate financing. But if we look into the scenario, some of the assistance given for climate finance in the form of loan rather than grants. So we are actually raising our voice for this issue that as we are not the contributor, we are only the victims. So please reconsider the areas and give us more assistance, concessional assistance and also in the form of grant to increase our adaptation and other resilience. And for this crisis, you are all aware that IMF, they are already with us and we are going for a lot of reforms. So we are actually approaching most of our development partners, just foreseeing the next 5 to 10 years for this transition period. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the main point is like you are looking for long-term framework agreement and concessional long-term loan and also climate financing. These are the three major blocks. And maybe with this, I would like to go to the last round question to World Bank. That like how and where exactly World Bank would really help Bangladesh to achieve the focus already our external relations division survival.
আমি মর্নিং বেড়াতে পক্ষ থেকে বিস্তারিত লাগবে কি Thanks. First of all, I think this is a very good point that we heard, and I will totally agree when it comes, for instance, to climate finance. Certainly, that is an area where we should be supporting Bangladesh as much as possible. The country, I think, it has not really contributed a lot to global greenhouse emissions, but of course, are suffering a lot from this. And we do have a large engagement on this front with Bangladesh. Working with ITCOL and so on. I mean, there is already, I think, an active engagement of Bangladesh when it comes to tapping carbon markets. Now, I would try to be, I guess, not provocative, but I really appreciate the effort that Bangladesh is doing when it comes to external debt. It's really low, actually, like 16% of GDP. Now, the point I'm trying to make is the following. The country has done well, extremely well. Today, per capita income of about $3,000 US. And there are opportunities for the country to reach very quickly to the upper middle income country status. And by 2031, and perhaps by 2041, reaching the status of a rich country. That will require to grow at a very strong pace, high pace. Right now, our estimate is that the country basically grows around a little bit less than 6%. That will fall short of these goals that are really, in our view as the World Bank, achievable. But the country will need to grow fast. If that is the case, perhaps it would be important to broaden the range of financing instruments the country should be looking at. I really acknowledge, and I think it is a good thing for ERP and Bangladesh to look at constitutional financing, but there is not much of it out there. I mentioned earlier all the effort being done to mobilize the constitutional financing, but there is a time when the country will be looking at what will it take to become a rich country. Let me just give you a few examples. Let's say today in Bangladesh, policies that abate both air pollution and emission could save nearly 1 million lives by 2030. That has cost. And I think it's important to mobilize the financing in terms that are basically consistent with the kind of impact the country could benefit from. I think, for instance, this investment being discussed these days at Chattogram. We had a very good launch of the National Real Estate Policy, fantastic initiative led by the Prime Minister's office. And right now, the way the Bangladesh trades, you look at how we have this condition cost around the Chattogram port. With the Bay Terminal, the country could save $1 million per day, just because the boats, ship can actually move faster. So what I'm trying to say is that perhaps it's important to for Bangladesh to invest into areas that will bring the sustainability part, reduce pollution. Air pollution is a big concern. Improve the quality of life, livability in big cities, and that may require financing that are not necessarily concessional. Okay, so that is the point I would like to make.
Okay, so that's not good news anyway, but let's see how we can explore. Yes, we have a question from the audience, although that part was closed, but okay, it's always there to engage the audience. Yes, please.
I have a very simple question, which is to anyone can respond. How do you want to characterize the relationship between US and China in an evolving global order, and how does that impact the region? And then another very simple question is that, do you think there are multiple forms of democracy. And is the Western liberal order is background. And the third question is very simple. Is do you at all believe that SDGs will be achieved by 2030?
So all these questions related to beliefs, is it? Okay. Short, very short. Okay.
Thank you. I think I'm taking a very different role. We will always try to hold our policymakers accountable in such seminars and conferences. But today, I want to hold our development partners accountable. As a country that was born out of a glorious liberation war, where millions were taking refuge in India, we know the pain and suffering of refugees. And we know that Bangladesh is hosting millions of refugees. And today, I want to get a commitment from our partners from UN, EU, and His Excellency the Chinese Ambassador, that will you explicitly commit to make safe return and repatriation of the Rohingya refugees a priority? And if so, in the next Development Studies Conference next year, will we be seeing tangible results through your negotiation and your influence? Thank you.
Thank you, Akhil. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, still we are moving in the space of normative, so we are talking about beliefs and then commitment. All right, that's not a bad idea. So, STEM panelists, would you like to, anyone, please, just please respond.